Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, this is an interesting topic. And I want us to talk about it because I think there are several things that we can discuss as a part of this conversation. A lot of people are talking about still the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach fight. And it's so interesting because shout out to Lamont Roach. We're seeing him now on platforms that he would have never been on before. And his social media following has grown exponentially since the Gervonta Davis fight. So shout out to him. It shows the power of Gervonta Davis. As much as people want to say that he's not a face of boxing or he's not the face of boxing, he absolutely is number two. And if he wasn't, we wouldn't see this amount of conversation, if you will, around this topic. But not only that, we wouldn't see the impact from this from a Lamont Roach perspective. We wouldn't see DAZN on social media promoting their May 2nd card with the face of Gervonta Davis. So clearly he moves the needle. He moves the needle so much, Jay, that we see fighters now chase opponents that Gervonta Davis has faced. Why are they chasing these opponents? It's because if they have the opportunity to fight them and they are able to be successful against the same opponent that Gervonta Davis was successful against, that's another comparative point where they can compare themselves to Gervonta Davis and promote themselves through Gervonta Davis. Essentially what we've seen on multiple occasions from Top Rank. That's essentially their playbook. Their playbook is to promote their fighters through Gervonta Davis. And it's so evident. It's so evident. It is ridiculous. And now we're in a position where we see yet another fighter that is interested in fighting Lamont Roach, and that is Keyshawn Davis, saying that Lamont Roach has earned his opportunity to fight for a world title, has earned his opportunity to face him. First and foremost, Keyshawn, and I respect you because I actually like you as a fighter, and I've said that on multiple occasions, but brother, you ain't even really earned your opportunity to be a world champion. You only got 13 fights, man. You're talking like you 30-0 or something. But he is now interested in facing these fighters. He was interested in facing Pitbull. Shakur was interested in Gervonta Davis' past opponents. They receive absolutely no criticism for their interest in facing these opponents. Yet every time Gervonta Davis announces an opponent, he is deemed a cherry picker. How does that work? Either the guy is a cherry that went wrong, right? And then he would also be a cherry for your favorite fighter in Shakur Stevenson or Keyshawn Davis, or the guy was always a really good fighter and the results that occurred last weekend should have been expected and you guys just missed the boat. It's got to be one or the other, but it cannot be both, right? It cannot be both.
Wow.
So I have no issue with Keyshawn and his interest in fighting Lamont Roach because I think Lamont Roach is a really good fighter, as I said prior to the fight. And we said the same thing, that this fight was going to be close. This wasn't going to be no wash, as people were saying it was going to be. Yep. But if we're going to do this, let's just make sure we keep the same energy, guys. Keep the same energy as it relates to, because whoever Gervonta Davis announces as his next opponent, best be sure that following that fight, Keyshawn Davis and Shakur Stevenson will express their interest in fighting that opponent because that's the only way that they can promote themselves through the name of Gervonta Davis. And I think both of them have the gift of gab, but people are just not interested in them, I think, for various reasons. I think Keyshawn actually has the ability to continue to elevate himself because I think he has the gift of gab that is greater than Shakur Stevenson, but I also think that Keyshawn feels more genuine. I think when Shakur goes to Twitter and he makes some of these statements, he feels disingenuous, and that's the reason why people are not naturally attracted to him, from a boxing standpoint. Jay, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's tiring, bro. It's tiring. It's the same old. I mean, they say, oh, Tank ain't fought nobody, but all his ops want to fight his opponents that he's fought. Tank ain't fought nobody. Now he want to fight Lamont. Lamont Roach was this, he was that. We're like, nope, close fight. Lamont's a good fighter. Well, Lamont can't do this. He has a good fight against Tank, went to a draw, controversial, whatever you want to call it. Now all Tank's ops want to fight Lamont. They want to fight Pitbull. Pitbull ain't even at 135. They talking about they want to fight Pitbull. So, I mean, but if Keyshawn were to fight Pitbull at 135, they're not going to say he weight trained him.
Nope.
Like he did Pedraza. like he did Lemos, Madrano. He's fought multiple fighters that came down from 140s or higher down to 135 to fight him.
You don't
I
hear
do
nothing
like.
about weight
I
training.
think Keyshawn is a decent fighter. Decent fighter. You know, I like the fact that he has a gifted guy. I like the fact he'll get in there, he'll bite down on his mouthpiece, and he will fight. He will fight. He also shows he has some boxing IQ as well. He shows a nice little combination of both. Unlike Shakur only shows that he has a good boxing IQ and he's going to be defensive. He's going to talk on Twitter that he's going to just beat everyone, but just going to destroy you in the ring, and that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. We watch boxing. We know about boxing clinics. He's not always putting on boxing clinic as well. He's in there really just being really punch adverse. He's really doing everything he can to not even exchange or anything like that. And I'm not with boxers getting hit just for the heck of it, but you can't sit there and make them miss and not make them pay, and then talk all this noise like you that dude. Keyshawn will make you miss and make you pay. Tank will make you miss, make you pay. Lamont has been did a phenomenal job against Tank. You watch him against Hector. You watch against some of his other fights. You saw how he's grown since that fight against Herring. But he was a nobody in the Tank. But now all of a sudden, since Tank fought him, everybody wants to fight him. Same thing with Frank Martin. People trying to call out Frank Martin a little bit after he lost the Tank. So I mean, if you fight Tank, best be known, you're gonna get called out by his ops. It's just the nature of the beast, because you see Tank moves that needle to a whole nother level. Lamont has been boosted to a whole nother level. He put in the work in that fight against Tank, don't get me wrong, but if him fighting Tank, 150% of his followers on Twitter has grown up from 10,000 to 25,000. This was seen virtually on Brunch Boxing. Thanks, Matt, for getting the numbers on that, stuff like that. On that, but yeah, it's the Tank effect on that.
Yeah, man. I have no issue, like I said before, with any of these fighters. I like all these fights, Jay. I like Pitbull versus Keyshawn. I like Keyshawn versus Roach. I like Roach versus Shakur. I like Roach versus Gervonta Davis in a rematch. It's because I was able to see everything through a clear, objective lens. And we all have biases. Of course, we have these biases, but I tend to believe, just based off of my personality, that I'm going to be more objective, because I believe in data-driven decisions. I believe in logic. Logic rules the day. So I don't get my emotions caught up in fighters. And I believe a lot of these fight fans, they get caught up with it. They believe we do, but we don't. They believe that we get caught up in our emotions, and truly they are the ones that are getting caught up in their emotions. So for me, all these fights make sense. What I want fight fans to do is keep the same energy. That's it. I have no issues with these fights, but let's make sure if, we see a fighter bringing down two opponents from 140 to 135 with the inclination that he wants to do it again against a Pitbull Cruz, then let's call that out as weight draining, because that's what it would be if it was Gervonta Davis, right? So Let's make sure that we just keep the same energy with fighters. Shout out to Keyshawn.
Years old.
Exactly. Shout out to Keyshawn. Shout out to Shakur. I want to see the fights, make the fights, but hey, let's keep the same energy. You guys let us know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and we are out.